Hey, welcome to Van's Tried It. Today, we're going to be making some $1,000,000 chicken. This is a low-carb version of a delicious chicken dish. Now, the thing is, my wife, a little while back, was having some medical issues, having to deal with her sugar. And so she went on a low carb diet to try to get that under control. And sure enough, her blood sugar went down. She's feeling better. Everything's better, even losing some weight. And so we're doing this low carb diet. And if you watch many of my videos, you will recognize there's a lot of stuff I make that she just can't eat. So I like every once in a while, and I'm probably going to try and do this about once a week to make a low carb recipe, because I know some of you out there are also dealing with some of the same issues and you looking for low carb dishes. This is one of them. This whole entire casserole is only going to have 16 total carbs, or if you're counting net carbs, it takes it down to 12. What I have right now is some bacon rendering down in the skillet, and that's going to be our first step. So I'm going to go ahead and put in here my favorite bacon seasoning, and that is simply some brown sugar and chili powder. And that's the last of that. I like to keep some of that on hand. I'll have to make some more up. And I like to go ahead and put this seasoning and let it cook right down on here. And we're going to not be so worried about, is our bacon getting crisp? But really what we're going to be looking at is, are we rendering most of that fat out of here? Because that's really our goal right now, is to render that fat down. And so you just kind of want to go so you don't see a lot of the fat in that bacon anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and finish rendering this down, and then we'll get back to you as we start our next step. Okay, so we have our bacon cooked up, and now we're ready to go to the next step. And I have here 6 ounces. Whew, nice catch. I have 6 ounces of cream cheese, but we don't want just cream cheese. I always like to whip my cream cheese if I'm using it in any sort of a casserole like this. So we're going to put that right in there and put this attachment on. I don't like to use the whisk attachment for this because for the most part, it just makes it harder to get the cream cheese out from in between the whisk. And so I usually use my flat beater here. And it's just really simple. You just start on a really low level. And then you just start to build it up until it gets to be a really nice, smooth consistency. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. And then we'll get back to you when we're ready to start the next step. And that did not take long at all, and it's well worth it, because I don't know if you ever noticed this, but when you're trying to put cream cheese in some sort of a recipe and you think it's going to melt up, but it doesn't really melt up into the recipe, and you end up getting little chunks of cream cheese in there, that's going to eliminate or really help to reduce that problem. But we're going to go ahead and keep using our blender since we've already got it out and got it dirty. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some more ingredients in here. What I have here is 1/3 of a cup of avocado mayo. This is chosen avocado mayo. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't really have less carbs than regular mayo, but it is made from avocado instead of seed oil. And so it's just way healthier for us. And so that's why I am using this. And we're going to put this right in here with our whipped up cream cheese. And with that, we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of seasoning. Now this is Fat Granny's. Here it is right here, Fat Granny's Cajun steak seasoning. So this is one of the seasonings I like to use a lot of. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of that in there. And we're going to go ahead and just give this a quick whisk up. And then we're going to continue to combine our last ingredient that's going to be mixed in here. And that's going to be our chicken. So let's get this going. Yeah, that's the great thing about using the mixer. It just doesn't take long at all. And so we're just going to get what we can off of this flat beater here. And then by hand, we're going to mix in. This is just a little over a pound of chicken breast that I have diced up. Now you can use a cooked chicken, like let's say you have leftover chicken or you want to do rotisserie chicken. You can get that. You can make this same recipe. You're going to need to probably cut the cooking time in half. This is going to cook for 45 minutes. You can do it in about 20 minutes if you're using fully cooked chicken. But we're going to go ahead and add this right in here with all this other good stuff. And we're just going to go ahead and use our spatula as we mix this up, because that's also going to let us get some of this stuff right off of the edges. We're just wanting to get a good coating of this mixture over all of our chicken. So just go until it looks like it's well coated. Just like that. Everything's mixed together. And now I just have a small casserole dish. We're just going to put this chicken mixture right in here. Just like that. And get all of our good mixture, seasoning, and sauce out of here. I'm going to just spread this out into our baking dish right here. Just like that. Now we're going to take our bacon and we're going to crumble it over the top. Now here's the thing. Because this is going to go in the oven for 45 minutes, you would rather have your bacon a little bit underdone than overdone, because your bacon is going to continue to cook up, render a little bit more of the fat out into this casserole right here. So that was actually 6 strips of bacon. I cut it up and then fried it. And now what I have here is I have about a little over 4 ounces of cheese. It is about 3 ounces of cheddar cheese and 1 ounce of mozzarella cheese. I grated this all myself. And I'm going to just mix it up just a little bit here. Now we're just going to cover the top of this casserole with this delicious cheese. Now look, technically, could you use bagged cheese for this? Sure you could. But fresh cheese is always going to taste better, and it's not going to have all of the stuff that they put onto shredded cheese that's already pre-shredded. So here's the deal. When they shred it up in the factory, they have to put additives with it to keep it from clumping in the bag. That's why when you take it out of the bag, it's all nice and it all just falls apart completely. And as you can see, if you're doing that with real shredded cheese, it doesn't really do that. Why? Because it doesn't have that agent in there that keeps it all separated. But also, you don't really want that agent in your food. You want as few additives in your food as you can get if you want to eat healthy. And obviously, this is going to be healthier than pre-shredded cheese. So we're going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees for 45 minutes. That chicken will cook up. The bacon will continue to cook down. That grease will get down in there. This cheese will melt. And then we will be ready in 45 minutes to come back and eat this delicious $1,000,000 chicken recipe. Okay, so we have our $1,000,000 chicken ready to go. Let's get some of this out of here. I wish you could smell what is going on here in my kitchen right now. Mm-mm-mm. Wow, wow, wow. Smells delicious. Looks super cheesy. That chicken just cut so nice. Came out super tender. And now let's get a good bite. It is hot. I'm going to have to blow on it. Mmm. Cheesy, bacony. Like I said, that chicken just came out so tender. That Cajun steak sauce just gives it a little bit of a bite in there, which I like. If you don't like spicy food, then use something else. You could go really simple. You could just do like a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of onion powder, however you want to do it. Mm-mm-mm. This is some good stuff. Hey, I tried it. You should too.